I'm ready to go here. Are you ready to go there? Oh, shit. You're laughing. You think that's...
You magnificent bastard, I read your book!
Hey, again. No more. It's done. It's over. It's time for the show. Hey, how you guys doing? So if you haven't figured it out, we're about to do a tank show. Yes, a tank show. Tanks for the memories. Thank you very much. Tanks, but no tanks. However tank you want to talk about it, we're about to do it. It's our tank show. Why a tank show? Oh, very, very simple. If you guys know what I've been doing for the past 2+ months, me and Mark have been doing like everything we can to spotlight everybody and everything in the community. We're doing everything. And we hit the refs, we hit autism, we hit the guy with the bionic arm, we've hit like children. Well, I didn't hit children, but we've had them on the show. Everything. You know why? Because we feel that everybody needs to get a spotlight on them. Everybody gets to have their moments. And that's what we're going to do tonight with the tanks. I don't know if there's ever been a tank show. There's never been a tank show on my show, but there's about to be a tank show on my show. So I'm really excited about doing this. I've got some really cool cats from around the world to talk about their tanks and to give tanks. If you're Ireland, that's what they say, tanks. I think they don't use the tank. They don't use the H sound, I think. They just say thanks. Yes, I like dags instead of dogs. Anyway, that's what we're about to do. So welcome to the show. Let's go over here to, hey, brother, how are you?
Oh, hey, I was calling in a strike. What's going on?
Oh, calling it. Oh, you're on strike? What?
No.
Oh, very funny. A pirate on strike. Arr. Okay, hold on a second. There's Sarah Midget Engler.
Hi. Glad to be here.
There's Tim, Hunter Valley Paintball Miller. There's Punisher, my sometimes. Punisher,
yeah.
Work sometimes. And there's James New. Oh, Jesus Christ! Look at this one. All right.
Got to be prepared, right?
Dude, you're a scary mother. All right, listen. So
better world.
Let's go from the top. All right, Archangel. What I do usually, you guys, is I create a show, Mark creates a show, or a player will come to us and say, I got an idea for a show. And then we'll say, okay, cool. Listen, to alleviate my burden, I'll say, I'm going to make you the show producer, the show runner, as they say in Hollywood. You create a chat, you get all you round up all the cats, the cool cats, and let's do this thing. So then I kind of make them my co-host, or maybe even my co-hostess.
Chief
like yeah, my co-hostess. And they guide me through this. Like, I don't know much about refs, and I didn't know anything really about autism, and I know about kids because I have to, but for tanks, it's always just been a nuisance. It's just that everybody, like, we're having a great day, and all of a sudden, tank's coming, and then we all have to scatter, like this, and then luckily, hopefully we don't get shot. So we're going to find out more about this.
At that point, that's good.
I'm sorry. Oh, now your microphone's working. What? I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. But at that face that you guys have, that feeling of, oh man, the tank is coming. Yep. That's what us tankers strive for. You see a really big, grin on our faces, because at the end of the day, it's worth it.
Nice.
Infantry in the open.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor there, Punisher. Can you show us that that design you have on your left arm.
On my left arm, I mean my
your other left arm, or wait, no, the other left arm. Yeah,
that one.
What is that?
It's an insignia. I'd rather really not get into it now.
We'll talk about it later, but I know what it is and I like it. So I was going to say it's pretty cool.
Thanks.
You're welcome, brother. All right. So here's the deal, you guys. Tanks, right? Paintball started in 1982 with a bunch of cool cats in Maine in the woods chasing each other and playing hide and seek. I don't think that they thought about tanks in 1982. What I need to ask you guys is, as tankers or tankeresses or whatever you want to call them, give me a genesis. What happened? What? I mean, all of a sudden, like somebody like was playing golf one day and he went off the side of the road and started like going through a paintball game and he became a tank or something like on his little golf cart. Or, I mean, help me out here. How did this happen? Anybody? Let's go from the top. Let's go from the top. Sarah.
Honestly, I don't really know because I've kind of grown up with them for most of my life playing paintball. I started going to games when I was like 8, and I started going to West Point when I was probably 9, 10, and I saw the tanks there. So that was like 23 years ago or 13 years ago. So.
All right. So let's go. Hang on a second. Let's go down to James. James, you look like you look very old. So maybe you know the.
I'm not that old.
I'm just joking. If you guys don't know about my show, that's all I do. So I apologize if I've taken you off into a different angle, but that's what I do. We talk about serious stuff. We talk about educational stuff. We do lots of jokes. All right. So don't kill me, okay? Because you look like you're capable of doing that.
Well, honestly, I could say my first encounter with a tank was at Command Decisions during Contien. I believe it was Contien 16 was the tracker tank. And everyone who's played in Folda, played around Command Decisions, they know the tracker girls. They know the Iron Angels. And it was a thrilling time going against them as infantry.
So wait, what year was this?
2016.
Oh, so whoa. Hang on a second. Hang on. She's been talking about 20 years ago, 23 years ago. You're talking about 2016.
Yep.
Hey, how good is your math, man? Hang on a second.
Well, I used to play in high school about 2000s, and I got out of it for a while, then just randomly decided to start playing, and that was my first encounter with a tank, and I'm like, oh my God, this seems so much fun. Okay, so you're saying Sarah's saying around like the 90s, right?
No, 13 years ago. So yeah, 2007 maybe.
Okay. Tim, am I going to strangle that canary of yours or what? I'm going to put it in a coal mine because.
I was wondering what that was.
Because
he might come out.
Okay.
If I stick my hand in there.
Maybe you can put a rubber band around his beak or something. I don't know. Anyway. All right. So. All right. So then, Punisher. What about you? When do you think that they first arrived on the scene?
Tanks in the sport. I'm going to say probably in the late '90s, maybe early 2000s.
Okay.
The Wild Geese, it's another team I'm a part of. They've always had a love and hate relationship with tanks, especially going on Cousins and everything, like the Cousins Field. But I'm going to say probably like early 2000s, mid 90s, maybe late 90s. I want to say people started slapping some wood on some UTVs or whatever they had at the time, and put some netting around the thing and called it a tank.
Okay, I got it. I guess we don't know. So we're gonna go with like the early 90s, right? Maybe there's some comments. Let me see if there's anybody that maybe anybody in the comments can shed some light on this. Hi, Justin Harris is there. I'm looking. David Odell. Fix that shit. Hello. All. Nope. We got no authorities in the chat either. So let's go with the early 90s, right? Okay, cool. So we're playing paintball.
I encountered one about early to mid 90s at AAA paintball in Alabama. It was a glorified go-kart with guns on it. But yeah, I can say that I know there was at least one then.
I remember there was this one up at West Point way back in the day that was called, I think it was called the Chicken Coop, and it was nothing but PVC and netting, and wheels, and it was man powered, and that's the only one I remember from that long ago because it was hilarious.
All right.
If I remember as far back as high school, whenever I started playing, I know Tittman had like a go-kart that had a couple guns on it, like a grenade launcher, like a little squad buster grenade launcher thing on it. Never actually saw it in person, but it was one of those, I guess they took it around to bigger events and just, hey, look what we got.
Exactly what you're talking about. It's the Tittman Hellhound. It's now owned by Hell Survivors up in Michigan.
Mhm.
They had this double A5 based Gatling gun that was on it. That was a clockwork nightmare, but it was really cool to watch.
Sarah, don't your gun has that? Sarah, don't you have a double A5 in yours?
No, I'm not sure what's in it right now because I know we're going to be switching to Phenoms because whatever we've got in there right now isn't working quite properly. So we're going to be switching to Phenoms because we got our hands on some more.
So you guys, the reason I'm bringing this up is this is a tank show. I don't know, has there been another tank show? I mean, it's like every week there's a tank show. Has anybody really spotlighted you guys and said, let's learn about you guys, or are we breaking
Here and
ground?
there.
There might have been a Behind the Bunker show on them at some point, but I don't remember.
I think there might
Sounds
have.
memorable then. Yes. Okay. Exactly. All right. The reason I'm saying
There's been
that.
a couple things.
What's that?
There's been a couple things. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Well, then we're not going to go crazy. No, I'm just joking. Here's what we're going to do. What I'm trying to do is to do this thing so people will really understand the genesis of tanks, where they came about. Because we went from people slapping chicken coop wire and plywood to extensive rules on how to kill a tank. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's obviously there's been something happening between the chicken coop and the and the tank today. So that's what I kind of want to talk about. Is we're going to talk about when tanks started to come on the scene. People all of a sudden said, "Listen, we can do this," and then the game promoters had to kind of make up rules. Because if not, then the tanks are just slaughtering everybody, and then can't be stopped or that kind of thing. So then the game promoters came in and said, well, maybe like you have to shoot it from behind, or you need a special crew of guys to do that, or there's like all of this stuff. Okay, so before that, when you guys said you were just kind of learning about tanks, do you remember that if there was kind of just like no rules, just like a tank would show up and shoot people and then it's too bad? Or were there actually, when you guys remembered, back in the day, do you remember that there were kind of like rules or what?
There were.
I remember rules. Sorry, go ahead.
There were some events that had specific rules governing how they were, but it was kind of hit or miss with them. I really feel like it was around the time of the first D-Day that you really started to get like a universal, understood book of rules for how tanks are handled.
Yeah, but now that it's different at D-Day than it is at Fulda, at least. So.
Yeah, well, there was a big shift when D-Day had the incident with someone firing a wooden rocket out of one of their rocket launchers. They changed everything for their rules.
I didn't hear about that one. I understand
now. Like a dowel rod or something like that into a Havoc launcher. That's when they changed.
Twinkies are so much more fun, though.
Somebody really hated that tank.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So again, there was another a planet shift when someone. There wasn't anything. You could shoot Twinkies or you could shoot Nerf rock. It didn't care what they. Then all of a sudden, someone upped their game and said, "We're going to do a wooden dowel." And then the someone put the brakes on and said, "Okay, we need more rules for this kind of thing."
Their game, I think that was something that was clearly malevolent. But
all right.
Yeah,
But
so that field switched to a different method of anti-tank. That field in particular does, I think it's special color paint for AT, and they have to hit like this tiny little target on the side. Their rules are quite different than our rules at Fulda.
Okay.
Some fields that I go to, it's you have to shoot at a little target with a special paint. Some it's 2 rockets hit. Some they have landmines. Some have grenades. We experience like pretty much a different array of stuff because we drag our tank almost up and down the entire eastern seaboard.
Okay. Listen, we have Steve from Australia also in the green room. Hey, Steve, we can see you. And we have Kenneth also in the green room. So we're going to be rotating you guys in. Don't run off. Listen, enjoy the green M&Ms and in the green room, and just hang out. We'll have you up in a second. Okay, so let's do this. So we're talking about the early 90s. People were just doing things. There wasn't really kind of like a structure kind of thing. There wasn't really even like units. Maybe people just like, decided they're going to take their old golf cart and do something. And then people started like upping their game, and then started basically increasing. So the interesting thing is that you guys or us kind of got to see the genesis of tanks. In your lifetime, you got to see going from a shopping cart or something to like, multi-million-dollar tanks kind of thing. It's just in your lifetime, even like in Sarah's lifetime, she got to see all that kind of thing, which is interesting because a lot of people that play paintball, they weren't around maybe in 1982 when, paintball first started.
I wasn't even born yet.
So what I'm saying is that in the games you guys have played, you have seen kind of like, them getting better, better, and better. So I think that's really kind of cool. Let me do this right now. Let me show, because Sarah's here. Let me show her vehicle. Is that what you guys call them, or what do you?
It's just my tank, the Renegade.
Your tank. Okay, cool.
Several names. It depends on the situation.
Okay, what do you mean? If you're mad at it, what are you talking about?
It could be anywhere from, my damn tank, to, no, I own a fucking tank, to, this piece of shit fucking tank. Or,
no, you can't call her that.
I've heard
die
that
on
phrase.
you.
Oh, yeah, no, it varies. It's
You have
all
to be
depending on the
nice to your
situation.
tanks or they die on
Go and
you.
alternate on a field.
I got it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So
Sometimes they
So
die on
it depends.
My Virgin is.
Sarah, hey, listen, Punisher, can you do me a favor? Are we friends on Facebook?
We are.
Okay, can you do me a favor and just PM me right now? Just say hello so I want to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Oh, I'm getting a public safety alert. Citywide curfew. Yep. All right. That's
Looks
I
like
guess
tanks
I'll-
are ambulance rolling.
Tanks are up.
all right. So listen. All right, Sarah. What are we looking at here?
So that is my tank. That is the Renegade. She has been in our family since 2002. She was my mom's car. And then she gave her to me when I went off to college, and that was in 2014. After a couple of years, she just got too high mileage and too rusty for me to keep driving her for work, which I drive a lot for work. So we decided to turn her into a tank. That's my baby. I had a lot to do with the aesthetic design. But anyway, so she's got the turret up on the top, and then she's got spots for guns to poke out. You can have 3 guns run at any time at our field. She only runs at Command Decisions just because we don't have the funds or the equipment really to pull her to other fields. Because I'm sure you can imagine tanks are not street legal. So yeah.
Usually
You're still using it for work, so it's easy to get a parking
No.
space, right? With
I
that.
wish. No, I actually got an 07 Liberty to replace her.
All right. All right.
But yes, she's my baby. We modeled her off of the old Willys tank to pay homage to her ancestors. The ID number on the side actually spells out Renegade, her name.
Oh, nice.
nice.
She's called the Renegade because she's a Jeep Liberty Renegade Edition.
Nice.
She came with a really sweet name.
Dude,
Yeah.
that is awesome. Very good. And how's the gas mileage? I'm just joking.
Well, she's 4-wheel drive, so you can imagine.
I don't know. All right. Sounds good. All right. So, and it was it was getting rusted. And then
Yeah.
you decided that it would be better off to do that. Now,
Yeah,
also,
we retired her
guys-
to greener and paintier pastures.
I don't know if you guys know this as well, but Sarah doesn't actually go in the tank. She's the owner of. She's kind of like one of those people who own a racehorse, right? So she owns it, and she stands around at the winning circle with the bouquet and stuff, but she really doesn't ride it. So you don't ride
so
it.
I can be in it. I'm there if they need an extra person, if they need to swap out. Like we had a game coming up that tanks weren't allowed to be in this month, but if we were going to run it, we were going to be down a player, so I was going to be in it. But usually I'm outside the tank doing my thing as a sniper, and if the tank's like in my area, I'll give it like intel if they need it to help them make shots and stuff, because I have a radio with the tank. Because radios are huge at our field.
Wow.
Big field.
Yeah.
Dude, that is amazing. All right, let me do this. Let me bring up. Let me see if I can find his here. I think it's this one. Where did it go? Here we go. All right, so this is how they build them in Australia.
Nice.
What is that? Your vacation jam? What are you doing with that thing? This is amazing. What do you call this thing? Oh, really? No, Tim. I stopped reading lips last week, so you're gonna have to take your. You're gonna have to unmute. Unmute. Yeah, unmute.
How to get rid of the bird?
Yes, exactly. All right, Tim. What are we calling your vacation home here? What were your?
That's my my tank. It's a Mitsubishi L300 van, so it has no seats in the back of it. You can stand up in the turret, and the turret turns around with a ring turntable that you can buy online that they use up in the cane fields for the trailers. So we cut a hole in the roof and painted her up and drive around. You'd be surprised how many people want to lay on the front of that thing because they think that you can stop on a dime when you're driving through the field.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a picture of your park. You have a Huey also from what movie was that from?
Matrix movie.
Oh, unbelievable.
That one's a full model. That's never flown.
No, dude. All right. So let me ask you guys a question. Just looking at those tanks here, are all the again, like what I said, you know, that we were like cavemen, and then we became like started wearing ties and going to work, right? I mean, we saw that whole genesis happen. So, is there a limit on the amount of guns that you can have out of your tanks, or can I just be like a porcupine?
So it depends on the field. Our field, it's 3 firing at any time, plus a havoc launcher.
Okay.
But that doesn't, you know.
So wait,
go
ahead.
The way I run my Nostromo, I usually have a gun sitting out the front in the front passenger seat, a gun in the turret, and one in the back. I usually run 2 or 3 extra guns because guns go down. If there's needed an extra gun, either the front passenger will pull his in, or one of the rear passengers will pull his in. Another one will stick them out, or however we could do it. And sometimes I'll carry a little first strike pistol and, you know, go west side and pop a cap in somebody, you know, if I have to.
Oh, yeah.
Have done it before, and it
Pretty sure they wrote that
surprises
into
them.
the rules that we can't do that anymore because my dad wanted to do it.
Oh,
Pretty sure
really?
Rick put his foot
Hold
down
on a
on
second.
that one.
Is this your,
That's one of my favorite things to do.
James? Is this your golf cart? I'm sorry, your tank?
Mine? No, that's not mine.
Okay.
But I really want to know who was standing on the left. That is badass.
That's amazing. But let me ask James. Did you submit some pictures?
Not sure.
Because I labeled all of them with the names, and that's the only James I got, James Davis. So if not, maybe you have like you can pop up a picture with your iPad or something and show us, or whatever.
I do have a picture of my tank with you in it.
Really, I'm flattered.
Let's see. I think you're tagged in it. Let's.
All right. Well, so
how am I going to do this?
hang on a second. Listen, while you decide that, figure out that. Let me do this. Tim, can I put you down for a second? All right, brother man. Hold on a second. Let me bring up Steve. What's up, brother man? Are you inside your tank? This is gorgeous. It's an amazing tank. Uh-oh. What is with the Australians? I don't get it. Okay. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Your microphone's not working. You're gonna have to. Okay, listen. We're gonna log you.
Oh,
Hang on a second. I can't hear you. No. I can't hear your finger either. Hang on a second. Okay. So let me. Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Apparently you can hear me. I'm gonna log you out and log you back in. And you click back in. Okay. All right. Click back in. All right.
Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Y'all green room is where it's at.
We can come back later. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt anything. So
Oh, here? No. We're just chilling in the green room, enjoying
All right.
the best of you.
Don't worry.
Nice. All right. Tell everybody who you are.
You want to go first?
Liza from Punisher Paintball.
Kenny
Nice.
from Punisher Paintball.
Wait a minute.
We're with that guy over there.
We're with the guy Wait,
Yeah.
that way.
We have
On
a-
our screen, it's that way.
we actually have a Punisher. Exactly. All right.
Yeah,
Did you guys submit pictures? If so, what's the name?
No, we didn't.
it's mine,
submit
I don't know if we have
Chris
pictures.
probably did it.
What? Prince Gallagher? What?
Chris probably did it.
Oh.
Chris, did you put pictures in?
I don't have pictures. I have something that might be a little bit better than pictures.
Oh
Okay,
God, he's gonna go to the thing. Hold on.
hold on. Oh, he's gonna.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He currently is housing the tank. It was living here, and we moved it
It
over
was
to his house.
conceived at birth at my house.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Well,
But
and
it's
there's-
down
okay.
to
So we're gonna get a. Hopefully his internet works. Hang on a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little rusty out there.
I will text you pictures now though.
Okay. Okay. Wait. James
All right,
White's taking
ready?
me a picture. Hang on a second. James White. Oh, look at that, James White. Let me just do a. I'm just gonna
There
do.
she
sharing. Okay. Hang on a second. Let me just share my screen over here.
Yep.
And there we go. And let me bring it up, and you guys. Okay. This is that's James White's tank. Mama
Nice.
mia. James White. Look at this thing. What game? This was in. Was this Super Game?
No, this was at PBC Greensboro.
Oh, right. That was my. Yeah, I still had some moonshine on my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why you don't remember?
And some Bojangles.
That's the Bojangles one, exactly, dude. Yeah, that was a great picture. I remember that one. That's fantastic. Wait, hang on a second. We're getting some. Is that an apple tree or a pear tree? I'm trying to. All right. Is that a? Trying
I
to,
think Chris's phone cut out.
Yeah, the service is pretty shoddy out there.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna send you pictures now.
Punisher. I'm gonna come back. Give me a Punisher.
Absolutely.
See if you can hear us. Listen,
Excellent.
Punisher.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Thank you very much for the tour of the yard. I really enjoyed the tree. That was nice. Thank you. Okay. Anyway, she's going to send us some pictures. Punisher, I'm going to put you in the green room for a second. Okay, hold on 1 second. Brother, hold on 1 second.
You got it.
Okay, hold on. And let me see if our volume is back. Look what happened. They duplicated. Okay. Hey, Steve, can you hear us?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, no. Wait, I don't know.
Oh.
I can, but I don't understand you. Are you speaking English?
Yes. Can you hear me okay?
I'm just fucking with you. All right. I'm just fucking with you. Yes, my brother. Are you inside of your tank?
I'm not inside of my tank, no, but I can get up some. I don't have a tank anymore. I had to sell my tanks.
Oh, wait a minute. Did you know this is the tank show?
It was heartbreaking.
Okay. Hang on a second. I'm getting what's that? Okay, no. Do you guys, where are you sending me the text of the pictures? And tell everybody who you are and where you're from.
Okay, so my name's Steve. I'm from Hot Shots in Australia. So down in Victoria, Timmy Miller, who you had on, I gather he's in the green room. He's from New South Wales. So I'm in the lowest state on the mainland here. We've actually sold our field now, but we used to have a massive paintball field located out at Anarchy in Victoria, and we used to have some big game events, and we probably owned about 4 tanks at any one time.
Holy shit, that's amazing. Wow. All right, but then now you sold all your tanks?
We've sold all our tanks. I'll see if this comes up okay. I'm going to have to turn the camera. Can you see that?
Oh, mama
That's
mia.
Nice.
Dude, that's a
Nice tank.
let me see. Wait, let me see the front of it. Move it a little bit. That's
Are those actual tracks?
That's actually a Tiger 1. That's not that has a sloping front. So that's like a Tiger 1 before they got beat up by the Russians. Inside of they needed a sloping front. So the Tiger, the Tiger 2 and the King Tiger, that would be like the like 1940. Wait, am I babbling too much about? I'm sorry.
Keep going.
Just a little bit. All right, that's a gorgeous one. My God, man,
Everybody likes a history lesson.
dude, that is fantastic. Did you make that?
Yeah. So actually, the base of that, the drivetrain of that tank is a Bren gun carrier from World War II.
Oh, dude, no way, dude. Oh my God.
Built off legitimate military platform. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
Okay,
so
brother.
we got hold of a Bren gun carrier, just the drivetrain on it, and we couldn't get anything else. So we built up from that, and we modeled it after. Yeah, you're right. We modeled it after the Tiger, and it was a shooting tank. The cannon actually worked.
No.
Yeah.
Do you have any
Cannon
video of
worked.
this?
Sorry.
You have video?
Yeah, we've got video. What I'll have to do is I'll have to email it to you or put on Facebook to you. I'll get it through to you. I'll try and do that today.
Try to do that before the end of the show. I'd like to put that. Is it on YouTube? I can pop.
Yes, it is on YouTube. I'll send you the link.
All right,
And
cool.
this picture here, can you see that?
Yeah, it looks like the tank killing crew.
Panzerfaust.
Yeah, Panzers.
So,
Fucking Panzers.
yeah. So what we did is we actually I heard you guys talking about killing tanks and all that before.
Yeah.
So we actually gave the tank killers special paint. They had to hit the tank on the right spot, and it was only by that the bazooka that you could actually knock out a tank. So the tanks were live. You could actually call a tank. We had a tank at either end of the field. So the Germans had a tank. The Axis and Allies had a tank each. Both of them were very similar, and you could call a tank strike. It worked really, really well.
Nice, dude. Hey, you two. Hey, we can see you.
Thanks, Rob.
We can see what you're doing. So cut that out. All right, please. All right.
We submitted photos in the group chat.
Okay, let me see if I can bring this up. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if tell me if this is your tank. Hang on a second. This one here. Is this yours?
That's us. Yeah.
Holy shit! What,
Yeah.
what is that based on? What is that thing?
It's based off a Mazda B4000.
Only the chassis.
Only the chassis is a 98 Mazda B4000.
Shit.
Similar to a Ford Ranger.
I can try to see if I have pictures of what it looked like when we stripped it down, or when they stripped it down.
Let me see. There's other pictures in here. Is this it also?
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
So it's all hand welded, and what type of frame did you guys do? 4x.
It's all steel.
Metal, the steel
Everything
frame.
is all welded in with steel. It has inch and a half inch. No, that's
I know.
yeah, that's Jimmy.
I know. Listen, the problem is that I'm just clicking on the pictures, and then because then I had to stop when I got to the ones of me in Vegas. All right, sorry.
Never happened.
All right, never happened. Not on my show. All right. Anyway, but listen, that's amazing. That is unbelievable. Let me bring in Punisher. James, can I put you in the green room? I got some soda down there. All right. Hold on a second. All right. Dude, are you the driver of this thing?
One of them.
What take two drivers?
Oh, everybody.
No, we kind of modeled our team so this way everybody can drive the tank, everybody can operate the turret, everybody can do the loader, everybody can be the gunners. It's the whole thing of like, let's say if somebody can't show up or something happens to somebody, well, we're not dead in the water with something. I got backups. I got backups.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
all
that's
rotate.
Yeah, that's actually me right there in the driver's seat with the green mask on. I got Pete Medica, and then the other guy in the back of is Chris Schwartz on our team.
Dude, this is unfucking believable. All right, cool. All right. Give me a cost. How much did this thing cost you? Time-wise, money.
Time-wise, about 7 years, and it's still going. Money-wise, between about 4 or 5 people, we're tipping the $70,000 range.
Spend a lot.
That's wow.
Most of it is trial and
Not
error.
even surprising.
90% of it is trial and error to see if it works or not. And if it does, we implement it. If it doesn't, well, on to the next thing. You know?
And it's just like every other project vehicle. As soon as you do something, 2 other things break. You fix one thing, 3 things break. You get everything going. You get a couple good runs, and next thing you know, it's like, wait a minute, why is the thing not running? Why am I arc welding to the chassis right now? Oh crap, the ground came off.
Yep.
It happens.
You don't think because it wasn't meant to be what you're doing to it, but nothing like that. No.
No.
That's because tanks get the
No,
shit beat out of them.
We've also
It
set
is-
ours on fire about 2 or 3 times.
It is your determination, and this thing will work. Why? Because I have a tank, and the hell with you.
Okay, I like it.
That's all the motivation you need.
Archangel,
That's it.
Pretty much.
Archangel, I'm gonna put you down for 1 second. I'm gonna bring in Iron Man.
Hey.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, Iron Man? How are you?
Doing well. Yourself?
My day is now complete that I've seen you.
Well, that raise the bar higher.
I will. Tell everybody who you are.
Larry Rivenbark, Greensboro, North Carolina. Play with the Tracker Tank team, and that's me. Been playing.
Okay,
about
Larry,
5 years.
did you submit any pictures? Here's the problem, you guys. It looks like people like submitted pictures and then ran. Like they didn't stick around for the show. So it's like now I have a bunch of tank pictures with people's names, and I got nothing. So I'm just gonna pop them up. Listen here. Just maybe you guys can help me out. What is this?
Sound off when you see your tank.
That's my team.
All right, that's your team at Foldy Gap.
Why are we in the
Yep,
dead box?
All right.
Yep.
and-
We had just won most valuable tank at Fulda,
Nice.
and it was our first. It was our first or second Fulda.
Let me ask you a question here. Let me see. Eric Engler's daughter, Folda Gap, nepotism. Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry.
But
Oh,
he
did I-
wasn't running it
did I
last
say
year.
that out loud? I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I don't know. I
He
don't. I
was
have
just
no.
our driver last year.
I'm sure you deserved it, and I'm sure it was like 100%. So no, I listen. I know you. There's no nepotism. All right, cool. That's, all right. Tell me, you guys. Does anybody know who this belongs to?
Nice to
Yeah, that's the Rhino.
That's the Rhino from where?
Fulda.
Fulda,
Twin
Pub
Cities.
Capital Offense, Mamba, and Richard Cox.
Good one.
Drives that.
Okay, that's amazing too. Okay, let me do this. Who do we have? Let me bring 1 second. Yeah, there, Sarah. Sarah, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna put you in the green room. Hold on 1 second, Sarah. Let me just. Where did you go? Here. Wait. Here you are. Hold on a second. Let me just do this. Let me bring Tim back in. Okay, now our show is complete. That we have 2 Australians. Okay, good. Now, yes, kind of balancing things out. Fantastic. All right, cool. So Tim, did you guys have any special rules? Or you guys, listen. This is a general question. Is there like a like you go to the internet and they said this is the generic way? I'm stuck. This is the generic way that we do tanks, or does every field have their own version of the rules?
Stand back.
Well, you don't need to go and reinvent the rules, because that way it becomes sort of a standard across all playing fields. No matter which field you go to, you're going to have a standard of rule for the tank. You have elimination rules for the tank, as it you different coloured paint to hit the certain markers that are on the side of the tank or the front of it. Then, as I was saying, Miss Engler was saying that the Nerf bullets were taking them out. So, but we use the paint is to eliminate it, and that comes from one of our anti-tank guns that we made out of some PVC pipe and put a Tippmann 98 in the middle of it. So that's how you eliminate the tank with that, because that's the only one that's got different coloured paint.
I got it. So you're basically just using a paintball gun with a PVC pipe shooting special color paint.
That's it. Yeah.
And do your cars have like no bottoms and you use your feet to run? I'm just joking. It sounds like you're very primitive there. I'm just joking. You're not using Nerf rockets. You're not using a Nerf rocket to knock it out?
No, just shoot the paint, because
okay.
And we know what we can check the velocity on the paintball. So
okay, I like it.
You know, so
okay.
Steve's the guru. He built one, so he's
okay, I like it.
higher up the food chain.
I like it. And what would you guys say the angle of Cool Dad's camera is? Would you say that he's like dominating us and stuff? Is that what he's trying to do with this? He's trying to show, like, Is he trying to do the alpha? Let's just give him his due, okay? Let's just make him. There we go. All right. There we go.
Down.
Oh, welcome back.
He's got it.
He needs to follow on his phone.
Listen, cool dad.
Yo.
Yo.
He's got mics. He's got mics.
You tell us. The monstrosity that you created. Do you have many of them, or is it just one?
No, we have one. I just posted up a picture on the messenger. It's called the Tracker. It's actually I built it for my wife and my daughter. I don't drive it. I've only been allowed in it one time.
Okay.
That's cool, Dad.
All right. I think I got that one. Hold on. Man. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can bring that one in. Hold on. Excuse me. All right. Let me do that. Is this?
Yeah, that's it. And I put up a picture before that, couple of frames before that. You might see it up there, a little bit better photograph.
Okay, and what's the chassis on this? Or what's it built around?
That's a Geo Tracker that we owned, and the story behind that was I've played paintball for now probably 26 years, and about 5 years ago, my wife and daughter went to a game with us because we also are involved in a Make-A-Wish organization, and we actually at the Fulda Gap game we help raise money for the Make-A-Wish organization here in North Carolina. Fulda Gap has contributed about $70,000 to the Make-A-Wish organization. Anyway, that was the first time they ever went to a game, and they saw all the tanks, and they came home and said, hey, we want to play. And I said, great, love to have you play. They said, there's just one catch. We want you to build us a tank. And I went, oh, okay. So anyway, after that, I had this Geo Tracker, and so sort of sketched some stuff out, and the rest was history.
I like. Here we go. I got in the picture of it. Hold on one second. How's that?
Yeah.
Looks sleek.
Dude.
Very slim.
Nice.
Pretty well known in the area. They've been reasonably successful. Typically, it's an all-girl crew.
Right.
Not always, but typically, my daughter is now 23, is the turret gunner. My wife is typically the driver. My grandson's mom, a lot of times, is a turret gunner. Just have some great help in the field and a lot of good competition out there.
Now, how does your Geo deal with the extra weight added onto it?
You know,
does it traverse through off-road as well as it would normally?
Well, interesting about it. One is two-wheel drive. All right, that was the first thing, and I built it light. I built it everything. Almost everything came from Home Depot. It's all. I'm a wood guy.
Home Depot has been a saving grace for tanks.
Oh yeah. You know, I simplified everything as much as I can. We are extremely low tech. Very, very so.
Yeah, I wish we
We're
could
the
say
opposite of that.
Yeah.
But
all right, cool.
Well, for
we
us,
went a little up there.
We didn't add that much weight to it. The little bit of weight that we added get transferred back to the rear wheels. I put some mud grips back there, and if it's too muddy for us to go out there, we don't want to be there to start with. We get up pretty much anything.
So yeah, that was one of my questions. Is do you guys build them on a 4-wheel drive chassis, or can it just be like rear wheel or front wheel, or does it really matter?
You could do whatever you want. It's just going to be how bad of a day or how hard of a time you're going to have going into a field, and you might get stuck to a point where you might not be able to get out.
Got it.
Even if you have a lighter tank, you can still get stuck in the swamp, which we've seen other tanks that are a lot lighter than us with much bigger tires made for the mud that have gotten stuck. So it doesn't. Okay. It's about how you balance the weight to the right type of steering. Everything else added.
Okay, and then who besides Sarah and Archangel, who's going to Fulda Gap this year?
The Tracker will be there again.
Hang on a second, let me bring him back here. So this catalog looking picture here that yes, you can buy this for that's what it looks like. It looks like
for a nominal fee.
Exactly. Okay, so you'll be there, and the Punisher crew, are you guys not going to Fulda Gap?
We've been talking about it for years, but it's always the aspect of the financials of pretty much
It could be
trailering
our
down
furthest drive.
a 7,000 pound tank, past 8 state lines and this and that for 12, 13 hours.
So you guys
So
are
it's
you guys are mostly East Coast then, right? What do you guys?
pretty much.
What do you guys?
Folda's on our list to do it one year. We really would love to do the game. It's just we need to get the cash, together for the travel expenses.
I got it.
Yeah.
So are you guys East Coast? I mean, like what? New York, New Jersey. I'm trying to go by
Long Island based.
Long
Island, New York.
Island. Oh, so you guys play at Cousins?
Yes.
Absolutely, it's our home field.
Nice. And I don't remember seeing a tank. I saw a helicopter, but I don't remember.
Oh, you were there. I believe it was. Oh wait, what's on my shirt? 2019 big game.
Exactly.
Or was it 2018 big game?
Exactly. That was it. But yeah, but
Hey, you notice our tank right there? Yeah, that's right.
This guy.
I like it. Okay, cool. You guys, listen. Let me bring in. I need a volunteer. I gotta bring in Sarah to talk about Fold the Gap for a second. So anybody here that want to go in the green room for a minute?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Timmy.
Send you. All right. Cool. All right, Timmy. Hold on one second. Let me do this. Sarah. Oh, Sarah, I like that Vaseline look on the lens. That's it makes you look really cool there. It's
Like glare from my laptop.
all right. All right. How many tanks are going to be at Fold the Gap?
Gosh, I don't know. Probably like close to 20. I'm gonna guess. We've had probably close to 20 in the past, I think, or like
20.
at least register. But you see, even if we have 20 register at any given time, there's at least a couple that are off the field not working. So it's never that many.
So at Fold the Gap, 20 tanks. I was told too, because again, I love tanks, but I'm not a paintball tank guy, so that's why I'm doing the show. But a couple rules. Number one is you have to kill it only from behind.
So an AT, so somebody with the Nerf launcher on foot has to get it from behind. If it's tank versus tank, they can hit it anywhere on the tank and it counts.
Which field is
but
that
not
at?
skips. This is at command decision.
That's command decisions
no
for Fold the
skips.
Gap.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Command decisions for Fold the Gap. Okay. The other thing too is they have a specialty team that you have to have like the tank killer people, right? You can't I can't throw a rock at your tank.
Yeah, so you need to get the tank, the AT card from your general.
Hey,
Okay.
can I jump in on that?
Yeah, you can explain that.
Yeah, been doing this a pretty good while. The AT people, there's only certain people that are allowed to shoot tanks. They get that number based on the number of tanks that are at the game, and then the AT, or what we call the light AT, their guns have to be pass a certain inspection. They have to be a certain length. They have to shoot not over a certain velocity to get accepted as the anti-tank role. So this makes it fair for both sides. As Sarah said, we have all sorts of people sign up to be tanks. Typically, anywhere from 12 to 14 is pretty normal to see what's actually playing. There you go. There's an AT card. To see what's playing out there on the field right now. AT gunners have to hit the tank from the rear. A regular tank round or what we call a heavy AT, which is like an artillery piece, we'll call it that, can hit a tank from anywhere. It actually has the same impact that a tank round does.
Okay,
Nerf rounds, KR2
okay,
rockets.
So a tank driver can actually back up into something and be invincible.
Absolutely.
Be invincible. So then, the other team has to either bring in the heavy artillery or another tank to knock him out.
Correct. Absolutely.
A smart tank commander will always keep his rear protected.
Yes.
They'll also protect the outside of their tank.
Yes.
Always have some eyes on your back.
Okay, that's cool. And you guys,
Never know when they sneak up.
Okay, so you guys, is that just for command decision Fold the Gap, or is that kind of like a, does everybody do that? Like in Cousins, do they do that too?
It depends.
Yeah, it does. You
Depends
can
on
get
how
hit
many-
from all sides.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. Any side is a viable hit. It takes 2 hits to kill the tank and send him back to reinsertion. But there have been plenty of times where one tank would be given the golden rocket and pretty much play the invincible tank if another tank was there and was overpowering one. So 2 shots to kill it. Doesn't have to be shot in the back, though. You can shoot us in the back, but we've played a few tanks, other tanks other than the ones at Cousins, and no one's been able to really attack us from
Take us
behind.
out. Yeah. Well,
Because most of the fighting is either in our front or our left and right. No one really gets to our back.
I got it.
We don't let that happen. The second that happens, we pop that tank right into reverse and back it straight up.
the back runners are also me and Chris's wife, so
Uh-oh.
they don't let us.
Got it. Okay. So on this tank again, this like Folded Gap has one rule. The park you have. So basically, the tank guys have to check in with the park and say, "What is your rule for the situation?" kind of thing. And that's pretty cool. Again, you guys listen. We went. Again, I'm going to bring up an old reference that only me and the cool guy are going to know. Probably. Did you ever see the movie To Sir with Love?
So where? What?
Sure.
Okay.
I did.
I want to thank someone who's brought me from crayons to perfume. You understand? Okay, that's a Lulu song. Never mind. Anyway, what I'm saying is that that's what we're trying to cover in the show. Is that you guys went from a shopping cart to now these multi-rule kind of, these, how much weight distribution can we put on? This is just fascinating for me. And then the tank on tank thing is also fascinating, that it's not just a guy with a rubber band and a barrel shooting it. I mean, you guys are pretty sophisticated as far as your tanks are concerned, shooting from the inside of the tank, right? I mean, it's like a Nerf rocket, compressed air. What are you guys doing in there?
Well, we run out of 2 Metadynes. So we have a main and then we have a backup. So we pretty much run out of Havoc launchers. That's our main source. We really don't have anything else other than that.
We
But
just
I've seen
invested in a new cannon, didn't
we have invested in some barrels. I've seen somebody built. It's one of the tanks at Ion. Yeah, he's rolling it out
He's
right
pulling
now.
it out
I've
right
seen
now.
another guy build it all out of wood, completely out of wood, and then use an aluminum barrel and then had a compressed air gun on the back.
Okay, so that's the Metadyne. That's the Metadyne rocket launcher. Now that's what the ground crew can use, but also inside the tank, it has.
But you can use that as a cannon launcher. Yes, you can.
Wow.
We use it from tank to tank. Take out other
And you
tanks.
can interchange it for others. It's really very wise as a tanker to have a backup cannon, have
Okay.
a backup shooter, because once your main cannon goes down, you're donezo. It's over.
I got it. So
I actually
okay.
have a question for, I think it's Sarah, right?
Hmm?
For Fold Gap, did you guys put any new rules into effect with the back gunners? Like, you know how our back comes out and we can stand straight up with nothing around us for protection other than our padding and our helmets? Do you have to have some type of netting now, or?
Like
Not
draping
as
over you
far as
guys.
I'm aware. Larry, do you know of anything? I don't think we have any rules for
Try
that.
that question more and more time. If the tank is encased either in netting, plywood, aluminum,
As far as I know, if there's a gunner like popping out and they get shot, they're dead. That's as far as
So
I
if your
know.
gunner is exposed and not covered in netting, even
Yeah.
though he's popped out of tank, you're
You're
killed.
eliminated.
That's as far as I know.
You won't see that there.
Yeah,
Everybody-
we don't really do that there.
Okay.
Well, no, our tank.
Well, except
you
for Ken.
stand out the back.
Yeah.
I
out of
mean,
the
you
back,
can. I
you
mean,
clearly stand out from the torso.
Ours has a hatch that you could theoretically pop out of, but no one's ever done it.
A few fields we went to, they would let us do pretty much like an Iron Man. Like, you pop
Yeah.
out in your cage turret, you open
That-
it up, and you're fully
So that might
exposed, and
be
you're
a
letting
good
everybody
question
see
for
it.
my dad or Mamba, because they're kind of in charge of that now.
Okay.
Ask my dad or Mamba; they can probably answer that better.
Well, I think it
They're
was
redesigning some of the tank rules. I know.
The
so
rules. The rules.
it was skirmish.
In
That did
airsoft,
something last
a lot of
year.
times they'll transport people, and the rules are actually there's a long rule set for Fold Gap. I mean,
Mhm.
it's all in black and white.
Yeah.
And
believe
And
the
they're-
rules
at
that
one
states
point.
the door opens if they want to unload troops. Everybody in the tank is open game
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if
Okay.
you're an
right
APC,
from the get go.
that's what's going to happen.
Right. They have rules and provisions in there for using a tank as an APC. I will tell you, in practice, I have not seen it done at Full the Gap with
Yeah, don't do that just on the fly.
I mean, they've given me rides to the top of the field before, but that's it.
I know I've
You can
jumped
really
out of
only fit
the
one
bank a
person in
couple
our tank.
times
Dude,
and
they're
flick
pretty much
flags.
sardining into your tank, and then you go on the fly,
Yeah.
just let him out, and then oh my god, you run over one guy's leg.
I wasn't
It
referring
happens.
to that. I was referring to actually playing because
Oh.
me and Chris's wife will team up in the back and we'll get into fire. We'll open the back hatch and we'll pop out and we'll just start unloading. But then I think it was skirmish. They made us put nets up around the back
Yeah.
for protection.
So I basically
I
took
wasn't
some,
sure if that was a new rule that was going into effect with most fields around, or if that was just like for Ion.
I haven't heard of it like popping up at our field yet, but I mean, again,
Oh.
ask my dad; he'd know.
I have one.
He's also
question.
posting things in the chat, rules in the chat.
I have one question
Okay.
for all the tankers. Just one question. Have you all ever had to deal with on-field maintenance during the battle? Like your vehicle has shut down and you have to diagnose it right there.
Not mine,
Not
because
good.
Minutes to deal
mine
with.
hasn't died yet.
I have
Knock on
gotten
wood.
stuck on a tree root before.
Ooh,
It went between the body and the axle.
yeah.
And this was at, I think, 2 folders ago. We had the Red Rock Crawler tank come and pull us out mid-battle. There was infantry just around us, even though we were technically considered out of
Yeah.
play, but they were winching us out.
Yeah,
We
I mean,
had
we
that-
have
we
all
got
sorts of
winched
fun
out.
stories.
That was
from
kind of
field.
embarrassing.
I mean, that field
We
has
actually
all
had to
sorts
have
of
a-
fun tank stories. Like there was that one year that one tank flipped over, and
Oh,
everybody
God,
got
yes.
together to lift it back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Uh,
was a crack tank.
That was fun.
We knocked a tree over, I think hitting Mount Travolta or something like that, and got pushed off that giant boulder by 15 other guys on the German squad. That was tough.
And then we were told to move a 7,000-pound tank into a very muddy area where we got very, very chassis stuck, requiring 7 hours of BS and a 60-ton wrecker to come and winch us out. And not before we moved the fully stationary 60-ton wrecker about 8 inches into the mud did you finally hear and the freaking tank comes out. It was ridiculous.
Let's
Eric,
push it to the chat.
It got one of them nice sauna mud bags. I'm telling you, the paint came out immaculate. I've never seen it look any better than that day.
no, Eric Engler is saying in the post in the chats here that you are fair game if you're sticking out of your tank. That's
Correct.
what Gap.
Which is understandable.
Okay, and that drivers are not allowed to shoot at all.
To be
shot.
Full the
No.
Gap.
Depends. Anybody that's really in a tank it depends on the field. The certain fields have certain rules. So if the field rules don't say that the driver cannot shoot out of the tank, then if the driver has the ability to stick a gun out of the driver window, on the side, and still able to operate driving, maybe what are you doing? Less than 5 miles an hour, not even. You're crawling speed.
Got
If
it.
you're able to crawl speed and pop a few shots and actually see your target, then you're good. But if some fields don't allow it, then some fields don't allow it.
Got it. I
I
understand.
guess for
Okay,
safety
Yeah.
reasons, you
At
want to be
command-
safe about what you're shooting.
who's
Command decision, they view that a little differently. They want the driver to concentrate on driving, and
Yeah.
absolutely. And everyone, every field has their own rules.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of little guys running around. You don't want to
Sure,
hit
sure.
anybody.
One
Okay,
of the things
so,
Command Division has that I don't know what the other fields do is we actually have what we call a tank walker. This is an individual that
We
is
have-
like a referee, is assigned to the tank. Tank cannot leave their walker. Tank cannot go over walking speed. Sometimes it's a fast walk, but this is to ensure the safety of all those around the tank. Provide a little more visibility for this. This guy is totally neutral. Helps the tank back up.
But he still gets annihilated by paint.
Yeah, I've been a tank walker before. It can be
It's
rough.
one hell of a ride. I'm telling you that.
wow. Okay, and this is
Umbrellas are great if you're a tank walker.
so the tank walker is You guys, the Tank Walker is again across the board or just at Fold the Gap? What do we got?
We use it at every field we go to.
Okay, I got it. Tell me who is this?
Ooh,
That
that's nice.
is
Ken.
Spencer. That's one of
That's the Wallace.
That's
I
the
love that
Wallace.
thing.
That command.
That's a beautiful looking tank.
Yeah, it's all plywood, but I'm going to tell you what, if it's in the parking lot, you'd think it's a German Panzer. He is probably one of the earlier guys to have the tank there in the Hickory area.
Dude, does the treads work or is it just for show?
They're actually about 6 inches off the ground if you look real close.
Nice.
Yep.
That is gorgeous. All right.
As far as I know, that thing is built out of a 2-wheel drive small pickup truck that was like completely stripped down, and it's just like the frame.
Is it like all wood though?
Yeah.
It's all wood, huh?
Yeah, but I've never been in it though. My dad's been in it. I've never
been in it. It's an electric turret, electric gun, laser sight. It's pretty sophisticated.
It's real technical on the inside, I hear.
I've never been in it.
There's some weird guy parked. I can't Jones anymore. Right? So I walked out there outside.
Okay.
I'm going to try to. I'm looking for Steve's YouTube. Here we go. Let me see if I can bring this up here. This is Steve from Australia. Let me see what I got here. Let's see if I can share my screen here. There we go. Let's see what's coming in here. Now, Steve, hang on a second. Let me just do this. Let me just bring in. Hang on a second, Steve. Let me bounce around here 1 second. You guys, YouTube. I'm going to put YouTube down for 1 second. Just,
no, I'm reading. What is that?
Enjoy the sweets in the green room. I'll see you in 1 second, Steve. All right,
That's good.
Steve. All right, Steve. Tell us what are we about to watch?
Okay, so we were holding a big, massive event once a year, and massive for Australia, but once a year would hold an all-in type of war type of event. It was Tour of Duty Australia. So we had guys come in from all over the country, had Axis versus Allies, and would play 2 games a day. Each game would be half a day. The German tank that you saw previous was part of the game. We also had an additional tank, which I'll send you a photo of. It was a Russian tank, modeled after a T-34. And what you're about to see is part of the game. We had armored insertions. So any team could request an insertion into enemy territory and nominate where they wanted to get out of the tank. So they could actually go behind enemy lines under an armored insertion, hop out and enter the game straight away. So what you're about to see is a team in the back end of an FV432, which is an English APC.
Okay, cool. So let's do this.
So that's a team. Can you still hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep. So that's a team inside the back of the tank. And you can see the opposition running. It's actually part of their team running behind the tank. And they're the players in the back of the tank.
Oh my god!
So that's the top of the APC was taken off. So that's sitting. We could hold 10 players in the back of the APC.
I'm gonna rip my stitches open.
All right. I like it. It's cool. That's so.
Yeah,
where did you?
Cool.
Where did you get this thing?
It took a while. There's not a whole lot of tanks in Australia, but I actually bought that from Perth, which is the other side of the country. After a lot of digging and looking, it took me probably about 2 years to find it. and we actually got it really cheap, 16,000 Australian, which is probably gather about 10,000 US.
Nice.
And we just modified it to suit the game, took the top off, and I tell you what, that's the best vehicle we've ever bought. It was just magic to run. Beautiful.
Nice. I like it. Okay, and listen, when you're doing something like that, I mean, where do you get a certified tank mechanic? Where do you find people that?
Yeah, we found one. We actually pulled, when we purchased it, we pulled the engine out of it just to make, because it'd been sitting for probably at least 6 years without it being run before. So we had to pull the engine out of it and, refurbish some parts of it and give it a once over. And you just hunt around. There's guys who who are in Australia who used to work for British military and work on these things. So you just get on chat rooms, and after about a month or two, you track a person down who worked in British military, and we just linked up with that guy. He came down and came at our venue and worked for the weekend. We paid him, and it was great. It was fantastic.
Wow, dude, that's amazing. That is so cool. Steve, what time is it there?
Nearly 12 o'clock, nearly midday.
Midday, fantastic. Okay, listen. So you're going to be with us for our Aussie show, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's tomorrow, I believe. Tim, I think it's tomorrow, right? Tomorrow, Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Well, it's always tomorrow for you guys, but I'm sorry.
You're always yesterday.
Exactly. I think it's Tuesday. We're doing the Aussie show, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I'm going to put you down for a minute, okay? Listen, if you got to run too, no worries, but I'm going to put you down. I'm sorry, I'm rotating, so hold on a second, Steve.
Thanks.
1 second. All right, cool. And then, so listen, Timothy.
Oh, he's back.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, this again, the ability to get all this surplus stuff, like you have the Matrix, what's it called, the Matrix helicopter, all this kind of stuff. You guys really take this stuff serious. This is amazing.
Well, it's hard to get, like as Steve was saying. In Europe, their tanks are a dime a dozen.
Right.
In the US, tanks are a dime a dozen. Same with helicopters. So the helicopter that I do have, I got from the Matrix. That's out the front to get photos with. I had that hired to a movie world, and they wanted to smash it, and I said no. So they went and brought another one for 50 grand and smashed it. And then I brought it and stuck it out the back.
Wow.
So I've got another helicopter out the back on one of the fields. But
Okay.
you've just got to try and grab what you can. But back in the 90s, mid 90s, I used to have a 6-wheel Argo amphibious vehicle that I put an APC body on top of that, and used to use that for promotional stuff.
Wow.
So, to run around. But then the APC, so which is my tank, so I can insert the guys into the field, and they jump out of the back of that, sort of pull up to shield it so they can get out, and then get the crap shot out of them as they're running somewhere.
Dude, Lee Duncan asks a question of who now owns the Panzerwagen. Does anybody know this answer? No idea? Nobody? Maybe somebody will pop up and tell us who owns the Panzerwagen. I got no idea, Lee. Maybe we'll find out for you. All right, let's do this.
Lee's one of the guys I went to Chicago with in 2015 when I met you.
Yeah. He is such a cool guy.
That was an eye-opener for him, because I educated him to some Australian words, and we nearly got kicked out of White Castle because I thought it was a dirty restaurant. So,
You are nuts.
Here's another story.
You're nuts. Okay, listen. Cool Dad, do you mind if I put you down for a minute? It always sounds like you guys. It always sounds like I'm killing a dog or something like that. Every time I say that, it's like I'm gonna put you down for a second. So hold on 1 second, and then. This guy's been trolling. I think he's a hater of mine. He says, just get me on the show because he wants to get mad at me. Hold on a second.
Thought you were working.
Oh, it's Eric.
It was after 9. I see.
Hey, Eric, do you know this Aussie right here?
Yeah, I do quite well, actually. Yep. Can't wait to see it again.
I went to Boulder Gap one year with Pete and snuck in, and I went around and clipped everywhere around my ID patch, because they said if they had to clip it twice, you'd be asked to leave the field. So there was no spots anywhere that they could clip it. So that was my little word game there for yeah, Pete just asked me to get out of the office.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Eric, how about this pirate? Have you seen this guy before?
Oh yeah, that
We've spoken
over
a few
there,
times.
yeah, no, he's that's pointing the right
All
way.
right.
Yeah. Okay. So,
So,
yeah,
I'm just going to say now, I'm sorry.
and her too. Trouble. Anyway.
I'll answer. Okay. Hey, you guys, listen. I'm getting. You guys, listen. I'm going to do this. I'm going to throw the controls over to Archangel here, because my wife is like saying, "Hey, we need to eat." But listen, the only problem, Archangel, is you can't bring anybody else in. So I mean, like I've got Steve. I've got Steve. I mean, I've still got Iron Man. I've got Iron Man down there. I got Eric. Okay. And I'm getting the like this from my wife. So listen, if you guys want to chat, go ahead. Keep on going. I'm going to pop myself in. I'm going to pop someone else up, and then you guys can go for it. And then if you guys are still chatting when I'm back, then I'll end the show. If not, just have a great time. So I'm going to pop up. I'm going to pop up. Let me do. I need a volunteer. Let me see this. Let's do. Hang on 1 second. Let me get out, and I'm going to pop somebody up else. I'll send. I've never done this before. Let me see if this will work. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Let me get rid of me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I've got a question topic involved as a ground counter.
Yo, it's a tanker free for all. Here we go.
Well, you said I'm a ground counter. I'm in the tanker circle, but I've got a question for you.
We can't hear you.
Joining the tanker core, if you will.
No, Archangel's got no
process
audio.
like when you go to provide insurance for your
Do I
tank
have audio?
for an event.
Hey, that's
Insurance
for the tank. I'd rather not divulge.
So I'm going to go kind of around clockwise. I'm going to start with Sarah and talk me through
Archangel, we can't hear you.
I can hear him, but everyone's talking
I
over
can hear him.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Must be me.
So most of you can hear me, but Eric can't.
The one IT guy can't hear you, of course.
Great.
So somebody.
Take
will have
another-
to
All right, what
please
was the question?
talk to me.
The question is, what is the process you go through when you go to provide proof of insurance for a vehicle when you go to an event?
You have to have insurance on a vehicle, and I'm pretty sure you have to give it to the game director. Or my dad was the one who did it for our tank, so you answer.
Okay. All tanks at Full to Gap have to have insurance. Plain and
Okay.
simple. Most of us register them as off-road vehicles, like an off-road only Jeep or a rock crawler or something like that, and then it's a liability policy.
Okay. Now, is it is it like ongoing or
to the field? It costs me a whole $15 a month.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
Eric?
Eric,
Yeah.
say that again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay, I can't hear Archangel, so somebody has to translate for him.
He said how ugly you are.
Oh, okay.
He was talking about the insurances on the vehicles, and
Yeah,
okay.
we heard what you said, but you couldn't hear us.
Okay.
So
It's typically about $15 a month. Was what you were experiencing?
That's you.
Someone
I can
someone
only
bounced
hear
that.
Tim.
Oh, he's asking
$15
how
a
much a
month.
month it costs
Insurance.
to cover the tank.
It's $15 a month to cover our tank for insurance. It's on my normal vehicle policy. It's as an add-on.
That's way cheaper than I imagined something like that would be. So that's not one of the
Are you
big
kidding me?
operations.
We've been having it, like up to here the past few years with insurance, and they just been like reaching in and taking.
So our insurance on the tank is about, I'd say like $600 to $700 a year, and we have it on our policy, but it's actually registered or not registered. It's insured as a farm truck with the general lowest thing that you can get on it as a Mazda.
That was
It's
pretty
not-
much the only route that we were able to take.
But
Okay.
you guys are in Long Island. We're in North Carolina. It's a
Yeah.
little
Yeah, you got different. You got more.
You know, the laws are
A
different.
lot of different
Yeah.
there.
But we're also registering it as a non. You know, it's not licensed. It can't have a license plate anymore. It's not a road legal vehicle anymore.
Yeah, we pulled the
Same as
registration
Yeah,
from
that's
it.
basically
Yeah,
what
that's-
we have it.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. So
Same
like-
stuff.
it's
The insurance almost,
It's
or
just
whatever you want to call it.
New York regulations is different than North Carolina. It's a lot
Oh yeah, we know.
strict. Like trying to, you know.
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I
Region
moved.
can have a lot of influence on that.
Isn't it how in Connecticut, where we used to live, you can't even have an uninsured or unregistered vehicle sitting on your property?
Yeah,
It-
like
Yeah.
it gets
In some towns.
strict to the point where you pretty much have to put a tarp over your vehicle. This way, no one. can see.
Sometimes you can't even do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good friends with TJ Alcott down there, and he had lots of trouble with his, even having it in his yard behind the fence out there on Long Island. So
He's in one of those towns that has
They
very
nitpick
strict
everything.
traffic code.
It's very much depends on where you're at and how much property you have. Thankfully, we and Chris both have a decent sized property, and our neighbors really don't care.
Yeah.
So the tank was built and stored at our house for what, 7 years?
And I gave all my neighbors free rides in the tank in order, keep their mouth shut.
So as long as we kept it nice, no one said a word.
If you bribe them right, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You give them beer and tank rides, and they're pretty much sold.
The boys, my neighbors next door, actually saw the tank, convinced their dad to go to Ion, came, played, and now they play with us at Cousins Field.
It comes
Very
big game
nice.
every year.
So very, very much fun.
It's amazing the amount of people that you can attract just by having a vehicle on the field.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That was the next point I was going to bring up.
This year at Fulda, the Renegade Tank's going to have
Yeah, just on
a
getting
player that
people
belongs
to
to
come
another
to
team
it.
in it who's
I feel
disabled.
that the
They
tank-friendly
gave us a call the
events
other day and said, I got a disabled person that needs a ride in a tank. I'm like, that's easy. We'll rotate him through. He wants to play and can't walk on the field. He's got to ride in the tank.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Love people that's not on your team to ride on the tank. It's a great experience for them.
I got to ride in the
I'm
tractor
sorry,
tank
well,
once
well-
a long time ago. That was cool.
What were you saying again? Because you were going to bring up an interesting question.
I was going to talk about the recruiting impact of having tanks at an event. Do you feel like the idea that there are tanks at a game brings a significant number of people to a
What we did last year is we did something that I haven't seen any other paintball team, tank, or anything else doing. We decided to sign up for 2 of the local St. Patrick's Day parades. And we pretty much set up a Ram 2500 with a whole bunch of paintball people, no guns. Everybody wore masks or some of their gear. And we just paraded the tank with the smoke machines, everything through like 7-8 mile parade one time. And then through another time, it was like a 5 mile parade. We had handed out a bunch of business cards from our field, from Cousins, stating that, look, here's a free entry, but it's not for a major event. It's for like if you want to go play open one weekend or something like that.
right.
People actually went down and they actually went to go play because that year we noticed we had about almost 700 to 800 people turn up in our big game event, and it was a pretty good big game that year.
Yeah.
So using stuff like that, like
That's
for like
brilliant.
different things, just to try to bring people into the sport. That's like one of the things we're talking. We always try to think about. Plus, at the same time, you know how many people break their necks whenever my tank is on a trailer, and then you're in a convoy.
Yes.
Well, there's a lot of accidents.
Even police officers, we'll have a perfect example. One time, and same thing happened in a 4 mile span. We're going through the bridges. We get onto 95 going, 80. We noticed a family packed out in a minivan. I'm talking there's like 10, 15 people in this minivan, like unsafe, right? These people are blasting up the left side doing 85, 90 miles an hour. Next thing you know, they see this thing. Everybody stops, hits the brakes, and, what is that? Everybody does it.
Completely get that. Yeah. I can't
I
remember
had to
which.
put in the dash camera just in case. So
They told me that in a 2-hour drive to a field towing their tank, they got pulled over 5 times, and the officer just wanted each time they just wanted a photo with it.
That happened so many times already. Now, do all of you other tankers have GoPros in your tank while you're operating?
I have a spider on the floor. Hold on.
You guys carry GoPros with you in the tank while you, so this way you have a lot of footage.
Oh, there it
How
is.
many GoPros you usually carry?
It's an interesting concept, Sarah, but
Fuck off, spider.
personally, I don't like being watched. On the field, so I but now that for Fulda, I don't have to do that. So.
Are those your blokes overseas?
Yeah. Was that me? Did I interrupt you guys?
I don't think it was you. It's more him.
So
Not you. Him.
Iron Man is
spider.
commenting in our group chat with a story to tell. Iron Man saying that he's had police come by to watch them target shoot near their house.
Yeah, that's not surprising either. If you've got a tank, see, I'm with a homeowners association, so I think if I tried to put a tank here, it would just be a stream of angry letters. So that's one of those things I just have to put off till later in life. But so I know I've heard at least some of y'all talk about learning welding in the process. What all have you learned in the process of building your tanks? Like interesting new skills.
I learned how to design T-shirts. I got with a local printing company, and I designed our team T-shirts that have cool stuff all over them.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see the back, but
Everything. That looks pretty cool. Everything from paint to that. Oh, wow, that is pretty cool.
It's nice
Yeah,
shirt.
yeah,
Everything from painting to engineering to, I mean, you name it. Our tank has 530 amps at idle to power 2 4,000 watt power inverters for smoke machines, for onboard security systems, for you name it. It's a little ridiculous.
From 0 to 100 on automotive electronics, teaching yourself that kind of stuff.
0 to 1,000, pretty much is more like it.
Pretty much whatever came to mind, we physically manifested it, and if it worked, we didn't burn it. If it didn't work, we threw it into the gas chute.
A lot of trial and error building these things. Any major mishap you've experienced? Like that, your
I
worst,
have a video of them setting it on fire.
your worst tank building.
On my
Yeah, no,
security
we-
system, I have a video of them legit lighting it on fire, smoke extinguisher, white dust everywhere.
The one time
Yeah,
was
running around like a
legitimately
bunch of
my
idiots.
fault. That is the only one I will actually admit to. The only one time.
Somebody was ended up welding onto where we had just applied, like that Great Stuff foam. Well, apparently Great Stuff foam and hot ass welding slag really doesn't mix too well.
That sounds bad. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, no,
they
that
came in
wasn't
there
one of
like,
the
we
worst
set it on
ones.
fire. I'm like, what?
Right, I had a fire extinguisher ready to go.
The worst one, I think, before we blew ourselves
there's
up.
a good rule. There's a good rule that our field has. Well, back to tank rules. Our field has a rule that you have to have a fire extinguisher in your tank at all times.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
we got one inside and one outside now.
Yeah.
At all times.
Now,
Yes.
Yeah, we had several. We actually achieved arc welding during a game.
Oh, nice.
we have.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had a ground wire
alternator in the
pop.
middle of the field.
Yeah, we had a ground wire pop off. Next thing you know, we're like, why doesn't anything work?
We had to push the tank
do we
off
stop
the field.
shooting? No, the guns still operate, still shoot. Like, I got to figure out why this doesn't work. So in the middle of a heated battle, here I am trying to jam a ground wire back onto the freaking chassis. And it's literally just arc welding everywhere. It just wasn't pretty.
That's
There's multiple Walmart and AutoZone stops. Mid break, we're like, okay, we're taking lunch. Who's running here to go get this part?
Yeah.
So we can get back on the field when we're done with
When
lunch.
you're in the middle of the Poconos, it's kind of difficult to do that.
Marilyn?
You have
Yeah,
to
same with Marilyn.
bring duct tape and empty promises for a proper repair later on, I'm sure.
Look,
Yeah.
duct tape works for now, and then when you get home, you weld a new bracket, you slap a new bracket on.
Always have spare parts.
We actually started carrying around a welder with us now during the campsite, so just in case anything breaks, you could do it on the spot.
That's dedication right there.
You got to be prepared, man. You got to be
Well,
prepared.
look at it this way. You brought it down there. You got to bring it back home, right? What are you going to do? Leave your investment sitting in the dirt and then cry about it? No. Go get that freaking thing.
It's happened. We've seen tanks left at fields for weeks while somebody had to go get another trailer.
There's one that's still sitting on that field now. It's a bunker now. It died in Australia. It stayed out there.
Our tank was very close to becoming a bunker, and we basically said, "Absolutely not. That's not happening. No way."
They
4 hours later,
literally called in a 60-ton wrecker, and this thing was ridiculous.
4 hours later, 6-ton wrecker, and yanked it out like it was nothing.
Not 60-ton wrecker.
Well, 60-ton wrecker. Sorry,
it was a big one. That's a big difference.
Yeah, that's the sort of super duty you can use
guys need to have. I coined
That's exactly what it was.
I got one around here somewhere. I'll go find it.
Find it. It's called turret syndrome. We all have it.
Turret syndrome.
All of our tanks have turrets, and it's basically if you're addicted to armor and have to crawl on it, play on it, work on it, and use it. So we made a whole bunch of T-shirts up for paintball turret syndrome.
That's fantastic. I like it.
All right.
Found it.
I'll have to reach out to you and get one of those.
Hold that closer.
Just fine.
Hold it closer, way closer.
On, move it to your right.
The other way. The other
Yeah.
way.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Turret
Oh,
syndrome. What does the bottom say?
I take it.
Sarah, take a picture and send it in the group chat.
What does the bottom say?
Take a picture and send it in the group chat. It'll be easier for us to say.
Yeah, it's easier for
I
I can't remember what I wrote.
I can't put any of the photos from the chat up in this anyway. So, all right.
Yeah, you got to open another page.
And someone in the comment section, Jack Healy, I don't bring beer over anymore, just fire extinguishers. I can attest to that. That is 100% fact. That happens every time now.
Yeah, Jack always brings fire.
He always brings a fire extinguisher over.
Now I can go fire Chris's house.
Fire extinguisher is not quite as tasty as a frosty beer, but it sounds like these tanks make them necessary. So
I have one teammate
gotta
that
stay
has tasted
hydrated.
fire extinguisher, and he can definitely vouch for that.
Hydration is key.
hydrate. Yeah, I imagine it can get pretty hot inside of those tanks. I look at them, I'm like, there's no way that the AC still works on those guys. So
No, that was one of those things where we had to sacrifice electrical power for comfort. So yeah, now we all suffer.
That'd be the case.
With
Yeah.
all that mesh around you, even if you have a functional AC, it's not going to do much. I mean, ours works just fine, but it doesn't do much because we have such an open tank.
In our tank, you literally had a tiny little fan that blows on you. That's like a computer fan. That is a major relief.
I got one of those in my mask.
I've had one. They're very annoying.
I love my mask.
As tankers, what is one thing you would like to say to any game commander that's telling y'all where to go, what to do? What would you wish they knew if they weren't tankers themselves?
Where the tree stuff
Listen to the tank crew. They are the people who know the tank the best. No matter what you have to say, they know their vehicle. They built it. And make it easier for tanks to get to games. Meaning, instead of smacking 8 people for full price or something like that, plus paint, give a discount to the tank crew only. It doesn't have to be much, but something says a lot of things, down the road.
Okay.
For the tankers.
This once again, this is from the perspective of a game general, not the game producer. General has nothing to do with pricing. So.
For a general then.
Yeah.
Let the tankers go absolutely crazy, and we'll handle our own. I don't know.
It can either be a surgical blade or Thor's hammer. going into any situation that you would need. And it would be up to the general to listen to the tank crew because, again, they know what to do pretty much. They just need guidance and direction to go somewhere. So as long as you let the tank crews do what they have to do, but give them an objective to do it, you could either have, like I said, a surgical blade or Thor's hammer smashing through somebody's defenses. It could work either way, depending on how the tank is set up too. So
it sounds like the bane of a tanker is a micromanaging general. Let the tankers do what they know how to do.
After a while, it kind of becomes white noise.
That makes perfect sense. Now I saw Eric's hand up, but I know he can't hear me, so tell Eric.
So I think what my dad was going to say was that at our field, at least, tankers get them for free. Tankers don't have to pay registration.
Yeah, there's no registration for tanks at Fulda, and I think they're up to allow 4 tank members for registration.
Okay.
So
that's not bad.
So
honestly, see, that's better than nothing.
Yeah.
That maintains the dynamic on y'all making it. I know y'all said there was a dollar sign.
Yeah, we're a field, and a game that's run by players. We're all players to begin with, so that's where this all came from. So this year, Mamba, myself, and Pete, and are running it with Andrew Ferguson, who created the game in the background. But we're all players, so that's the big thing. And we've been
pretty much in our case, it's fuel and tolls. We got a 2,500 Ram that's towing an 8,000 pound freaking trailer.
So it's 8 miles to the gallon if you're lucky.
Pretty much, yeah. It's fun. In some cases, up mountains, we're getting gallons per mile, not miles to the gallon. So, but hey, it's a Hemi.
Yeah.
And that is why our tank does not go anywhere except command decisions. It lives there year round.
We probably do not spend nearly as much as we would spend. If you heard the amount of money that we spend on each trip, it's disgusting. When you got to go through 6 bridges and about 6 tolls, it all adds up, no matter what.
But just for us to bring the tank to Ion, Pennsylvania, which is 3.5 hours away from here, we're already committing about $2,500 in fuel and tolls.
Yep,
and just getting
I get it.
Wow.
And paint.
Yeah, that's insane.
3 hours.
Yeah, if we lived in Connecticut, we get it.
That's
Paint for the tanks is a lot.
Yeah, I imagine tanks go through a lot of paint.
Yeah.
That's a great question. What is the average paint consumption for each of y'all as tankers? Let me start with
depends on the game.
Everything else first.
So, how we're talking about how much paint did we go through? In the average game.
Last year at Fulda, we went through 7 cases or something like that, and we weren't shooting a lot. We were looking more at anti-tank instead of anti-personnel. So yeah, we went through 7 cases. It wasn't so bad.
7?
It's in 3 days.
Fulda Gap is 3 days long, isn't it? 3 days long?
2 days.
2 days, 7 cases for 2 days?
2 days. That's all we went through. But we were having some gun problems too, so
we would have a completely different take on that.
Chris, how many cases did we go through at that one Ion?
The Ion. So we were the only tank that I can understand that has ever earned the MOFO award at Ion, specifically for a tank. We have the plaque hanging up at Kenny's house. That game was a 2-day game weekend. We chewed through 47 cases of paint.
Wow. Okay, but I need to clarify.
47 cases of paint at $92 a case.
He was saying they were having gun problems though, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you're having gun
Ion,
problems, there's only so many.
How many guns can you have in your tank? See, that's the thing. At Fulda, we only allow 2 shooters at once.
No, it's 3.
Okay.
Well,
so
at
at Ion,
2 guns in the turret, and then one in somewhere else in the tank. So technically, only 3 guns.
Ion typically our tank is running with 5 gunners. We have 2 potential in the front, 1 in the turret, 2 in the rear.
Yeah. See, we don't do that at Fulda. We only allow three firing markers at the same time.
All right. Cousins, we could do the same thing, but honestly, we have to limit ourselves because the first time we brought the first 2 seat big games, we brought it over to Cousins. Ralph RJ, he's a great game maker, but at the same time, we're all on the same team with him. He has to throw stuff our way just to slow us down. Well, you're watching a 20-acre, 30-acre golf course. The whole field is red, and you're on blue team. And when you literally watch in a 5-minute span the entire field go from red to blue like that, you got to change stuff up in the game a little bit, So it's like, yeah.
Well, and at Folda too, think 14 tanks. If they're all firing 5 guns at the same time, the average player would have a bad day.
Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. But the year that we won the Mofo Award at Ion, most of us run speed guns in the tank. We have a lot of Planet Eclipse guns. Those things you can't really kill them. I put what was it? I think myself personally, I was responsible for almost 15 to 20 cases that game. Just being in the turret gunner, and I had E-Tech 2, a little smiley face gun. Maxed out on everything. We would hide in places that you wouldn't think a vehicle could hide into, but the vehicle's based off of a Horch. Plus, we had the camo design. We fit right into a like a little nook and cranny, so to speak, and all of the gunners were fully visible. Not really fully visible, but we had a perfect hasty ambush on all the allies running into the beach. So we would literally just let the allies at like 100, 200 at a time fill the beach. And all right, that's it. Enough. Now everybody dumps everything. We did that so many times. We pissed everybody off. It was great.
Look, Larry's talking in chat here. He's saying Tracker will shoot 7 to 10 cases at a Folda. But they're primarily, again, we're the Tracker and the Renegade. We're anti-tank and anti-bunker. So we're, they'll get 20. Tracker's got 20 tank kills in a weekend.
But you see, we're a little different. If somebody's lighting us up and like we're inside the tank and obviously we can't go out and we shoot this douche, and like now he thinks that because we're getting to some kind of pissing match, where they start shooting back and this goes, that just pisses us off. And now we'll average maybe 7 cases of paint in a run. When before this incident, we might have averaged maybe 2 cases of paint in a run. So it's every game is different now.
If you piss off the back on
I've played Oklahoma D-Day. I've played Ion. I've gone out to Long Island. I've played Folda, and it's really interesting at Folda. People don't shoot a lot at the tanks with paintball guns because 1, they know that they can't kill it, and 2, that it really pisses off the tank, and so they don't. They just don't shoot at the tanks with paintball guns. So you don't get into
I don't know. I like that. I kind of like them shooting at us. It kind of knows that I got their attention a little bit. Kind of like an attention whore when I'm in a tank,
They more hide from tanks than anything else at Folda.
I mean, honestly, haven't we all built tanks just to get the attention from everybody? I love you.
Sure, that may be a huge
like 40,000 balls are shooting at my tank,
Yeah,
and it has to do with how familiar the player at a specific event
has, different tanks for different duties.
I want to get a sign that says "Hit me." And just stand outside the turret. And just We did have an idea to weld a hitch attachment to the front of the tank and put a seat there until one of our own crew member became, somewhat of a bad boy, did something wrong. Instead of a slap on the wrist, you take him, you put him in front on the front, douche seat, as they call it.
I don't think that's very
okay.
Whatever. Yeah,
we'll call it the player plow.
Yeah. Mad Max Fury Road, you got the guy on the front of the vehicle, he's sitting there.
That's it.
This is
Mad Max.
At the end of the build, after they're a few cases deep.
We also thought about a flamethrower paintball gun, which we didn't know how that would go.
I've seen
sprayer, but
there are a couple of Oklahoma D-Day a few years in a row, and they work. But man, they mess you up. If you're an infantry guy and you get hit with that sucker, I mean, you get Wagner power painted, and it's just awful. And it wrecks guns.
Yeah.
I've seen Electros just get destroyed because they got hit with the
Oh,
flamethrower.
I get so mad. So mad.
Video from one that was being used at, I want to say it was Big Game in Oregon. One of the Palmers had made a flamethrower, and there's video where he just hosed somebody from face mask to crotch in one big spray, and the guy, it looked terrible. I would have been so mad.
It's honestly, it's kind of funny.
Showers.
Keep that group. I'll keep this.
Our field doesn't have showers. Please don't do that.
That's why I kind of look at the idea of a tank flamethrower, even if it's, tank mounted. No, I would.
We're all there to have fun.
An induction fan.
like
and then just shoot it all through.
Like Sarah was saying earlier, it's always fun launching a Twinkie out of a Metadyne. And you can get really creative with these things. We've frozen them. We've fired them soggy. I mean, you name it. If it fit down the barrel of Metadyne, hey, will it shoot? Will it Metadyne?
I got a really good question for all you tankers. What was the closest shot, if you have ever been, that you have taken from a Havoc launcher or a Metadyne? What is the closest shot to your body personally that you have taken? Or if any?
My body?
Yes. A direct shot.
I got hit in the head as a general by somebody shooting a JCS launcher in 2004. It almost knocked me out.
Oh, nice. I hit this guy from about 10 feet away, right in the sternum.
We were playing racquetball, and I thought I could, slugger that thing, home run.
No.
That hit right on the diaphragm, and I went down out cold.
Yeah, no. I stepped in front of one of my guys that was going to go shoot a tank, and he hit me right in the side of the head.
No.
We have a member on our team. We have a member on our team called Rocket Cock, and there's a man out there that I'm sure some of you know named Wade Hansberry.
I know Wade,
and
and
so we originally knew him as a Hawaiian shirt guy because we were at I think a Living Dead game when he was down there, and from about I want to say maybe 100 or so feet. Now, if you ever look at the front of our tank, there's like a little tiny machine gun port, and it's literally a mailbox slot, right? Like it just passes a rocket, right? Like I don't know how the hell he did it, but we had one of the members on our team firing out of that gun port. Well, Wade and his accuracy, next thing you know, you see a rocket incoming, and I'm like, oh, that's going to hit. It shot right through the mailbox slot and hit the member in the team right in the member.
Right.
And the kid just dropped. Now, I'm sitting there because I'm driving, and I start laughing hysterically. I'm like crying almost. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this is great. That was a hell of a shot. Yeah. It was beautiful. So then 2 minutes later, I look up, and there's Wade again. Wade pops right out and sends another one, and this time it hits like the windshield right in front of my face, slams all the windows down. I get on the PA. I'm like, bro, I ain't even mad. That was good shooting. So, yeah.
Talented. He is talented. I know Wade.
Oh, man. Never would I thought that somebody would have had a rocket pass through that and hit somebody in the junk, but it was good.
Yeah, but that's really good. Here's one for you. We were at West Point, and TJ Alcott and Don brought their Panzer out to West Point, and it broke down on them, but they were still shooting their guns, and we couldn't get past them on the road. So we decided to roll 4 smoke grenades under their tank because they couldn't roll, and force them out of the vehicle.
Oh my,
that's terrible.
So we
can't read, you can't play.
Oh my. We actually have reinforcing in the windows for rockets. One of our other members learned this the hard way and why we needed to put that in there. During one of the first games we brought that thing out, he's sitting in the passenger seat being the navigator gunner. And I forget who exactly, I was in the turret, and I forget who was driving. I think it was another member of the team. But like I said, before we had the reinforcements in there, somebody sent a rocket right into the window. And the window was only screen or netting. So it blasted through the netting and capped him right in the forehead. And all you just see inside the tank is like this dude's head rocked back. So then we're sitting there, we're giggling. And then somebody from the opposite side now, from the passenger window, fires again, blasts through the netting again. Now hits him in the side. And he like pretty much Colonel Sanders. Like, It's like, that's it, I'm done. And I can't stop laughing. This is beautiful.
I've never been directly hit by one of the rockets, but I have had a friend. I use the term friend loosely. Walk up and drop the barrel of her Havoc right on my shoulder to use me as a brace.
Oh, fuck.
In my ear, that thing went off. Miss Turner was not did not receive kind words from me after that. I don't know who all know Candy Turner, but that she made a habit of doing that, and she decided it was funny.
Oh man.
So,
I haven't been hit by one, but as a ref, I've had one fly right by my head once.
Come on, you got to play baseball with a Havoc launcher. You got to play baseball. It's a lot.
Encourage that.
I didn't see it coming. I think it was from behind me. I don't know.
Well, no, the only way that he did the baseball was he saw a Twinkie get loaded into the Metadyne, and then I sly a hand, dropped the Twinkie out, and loaded in a freaking rocket, and then blasted him in the chest with it, pretty much.
Has anyone ever read the care instructions for their Metadyne Havoc? Because in like 12 rules, they say 3 different times, don't put strange things in here for fun.
Yeah, we take
Look,
that.
I'm not a big fan of Manuel.
Throw it right out.
I was in the back of the tank.
That's not surprising.
Big game. Last big game. And I got shot straight in the chest. And I have like a chest protector that I wear normally.
You got that JT.
I remember that one. That was good.
And I was just standing in the back of the tank, shooting away, minding my own business. And the next thing I know, something just came up out of nowhere and just shot me straight right in the chest. I was like, all right, I'm done. Down floor. But I have like the padding that goes in the front, the social padded, the padded sports bra.
Yes.
And then I have another padded shirt that we
Social
put
came
over
out
it.
with a women's padded shirt bra, pretty much. You know, covers all the goods. You know.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You know, they can go home.
You guys have them for your junk. Why not us have them for our boobs?
Listen, actually, I never wore a nut cup because I wore it once and it was the worst idea. You get shot right in the nut cup about 3 or 4 times. Guess what? That piece of plastic is smacking at you.
Okay.
And you're like, no, this is not good.
No.
Let me bring
How do we go from armor to nut cups?
Wearing armor.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Different kinds of armor
so, no.
protection than that. So Christopher
No,
Norrie,
I'd rather go out in a t-shirt and a pair of khakis and play that way than wear any protection. So
Yeah.
But my first game was 1984. When we were just running shop goggles. So
What was the PSI? What was the PSI for each ball? What, 180 at that
we
time?
didn't know. We didn't check. We shot them against a tree and said, okay, that worked. And the paint was oil based.
Yeah.
And this was survival games in Wisconsin, and we were all shooting nail splats with oil-based paint.
And back then they didn't have the full case, the full mask. They only had the goggles, right?
Just shop goggles, just those funny shop goggles your shop teacher gave you. You could push the lenses out with your finger.
Yes,
that's what we were wearing that day. People lost teeth and had broken noses. So yeah.
I'm going to bring us back over on the topic.
Still doing it.
There was a question that popped up in the chat that I'd like to get some feedback from all of y'all on, and that is just how important it is to have infantry support as you move the tanks around.
Oh, so important. The tank can do as much as you want. At least at Fulda, in my experience, the tank can push forward and it can help, but unless the people are pushing forward with it, you ain't going anywhere. Like as a team, you ain't going to push forward on the field.
That's why we put a smoke machine in ours.
I can't tell you how many times that no matter how many times the tank pushes forward, if the front line doesn't move,
exactly,
you don't go anywhere. You just waste your heat, and then the front line stays, and then you get taken out, obviously, and then the front line has to move up and get back to square one.
The same way in the real world, where if infantry doesn't go with the tank, the tank dies, and that's why armor in the real army always has infantry attached.
Yes. No matter how much armor you have on the field, you need foot patrol. You need those guys on the ground. They are as vital as you are.
So how difficult is it from inside the tank then to communicate with the infantry supporting you? Do y'all keep PA speakers, or do y'all make sure y'all have radio contacts with infantry? How many of you actually pair up with specific units or specific foot troop teams to support you?
Is there one?
Every game.
That's one way to communicate.
Every game, we have multiple ways. We have a 100-watt PA that we could corral people with. We have people on the outside of the tank. The Punishers, it takes 6 people to operate the tank, 7 plus which is the walker on the outside of the thing. Otherwise, we're about 13, 14 strong. We have the geese also. So we have a ground force. We get them on radios to go corral everybody around that they can see, and kind of say what the hell needs to be done. So we kind of have that aspect covered in that way a little bit.
Do you guys run with radios to pair up with other outside teams? Speaking with other people.
At Fulda, we do, but Fulda is kind of an interesting thing because every unit at Fulda on both sides has their own radio frequencies. So it's the tankers on the Allied side. So here's I'm giving away something to Archangel here for Warsaw this year, but the Allies have a radio unit and have for a long time for each unit, and then the tanks also talk to each other. So it can be very interesting. There was
it's not like you're divulging any information from one team, because what you're doing on your team, they're doing the same thing on their team.
In the war.
So both teams are doing the same thing, just a little different. It's the same thing with ION. When you go with the Allies and the Access, they think that they're each doing their own separate thing. They're pretty much both doing the same strategy, just slightly different.
There was a year at Fulda where
some spine.
The ante. My first year generaling there, I brought scanners, and so we were listening to Werewolf and all his transmissions, and then writing down his frequencies, and then after
Werewolf or Wolf Pritchard?
No, Werewolf from North Carolina, not that Werewolf.
Okay, all right, different Wolf.
Okay, but anyway, I went and thanked him for a great game on his own frequency after the game when the game was over. So he was not a happy camper.
Yeah, I had to concern whether or not I was going to be listened into when I was commanding, but I just decided to keep all of my instructions so simple that it wouldn't matter if they were listening in.
Yeah, so radios are totally a must at Fulda in general. Some of the tanks have radios with people outside the tank, like ours does, so I have a radio with the tank. But that's only so helpful if I'm with them, because I'm not with the tank the whole game, because I stick to my areas where I'm best utilized as a sniper. But other tanks do that too.
Now, do you try to keep a radio with the referees, at least? Obviously with a general, but at least your main referee, your watcher.
As the rules are for Fulda Gap, the tank walker has to have constant communications with the tank crew. So Renegade Tank gives them a radio. They've got.
So he obviously has 2 radios, probably one with the ref and one with the tank.
Well, yeah, the tank has 2 radios, and the tank walker has his own.
As a walker, you always have to have communications with inside the tank, because otherwise then you're useless. But you always have a ref that you're always walking with, because he obviously has to count the hits that hit your tank. So you kind of help him out a little.
We don't assign refs to tanks at Fulda. It's very interesting.
You mean they don't assign it to the tanks? It's kind of like go as you go.
It's an honor system, and your tank walker watches for you, and we don't get cheaters. I mean, it's one of those things where you get hit with a rocket, and that the tankers. I mean, your tankers, we're all honorable players, so we call ourselves out. And your tank walker calls your hits for you too. That's his job. And
as long as you're being fair and you call your hits, there should be no problems. And especially if you play at the same field over and over again, the refs pretty much know you.
And I ref at our field too, and I've refed airsoft Fulda and stuff before. And I can say as a ref, if there's a tank nearby, I'm gonna pay extra attention to it.
Yeah.
so that I can see it if it gets hit and call it out. Like the
Like-
ref call
like,
out, because I'm the director, so usually.
We
Yeah.
the D-Day Snipe with the CEF. He has an aeroplane, so he can drive around roadblocks that tanks can't. So, but the first year he asked me to jump up in the turret, and I've never didn't know the rules. He said jump in, so we played, and he would prop up the white flag to surrender if I'd take the shot someone. So that was the gentleman's agreement, was pop up the antenna with the white flag on it, so you'd go and exchange cards and information, so she'd recorded a kill. But I didn't know that I had to stop shooting, so I shot 3 tanks in a row whilst he'd jumped out of the car with the flag up, and he's jumping up screaming at me, don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just took the shots. So, yeah, it was one of those things. So that was a really an eye-opener for me to introduction to the tank side of things, because I just wanted to go walk around and get shot. So so you had to go home with a war wound. But, yeah, so, but, yeah, it's interesting. D-Day, it taught me a lot of stuff about the tanks, and as they, there's, you know, if you're on the road and there's a tank coming, then get off the road. That's one of those things, get off the road. So,
That's kind of a universal thing. If you're not prepared to fight a tank, stay away from the tank.
yeah. Or it respawns from the opposite team's respawn area and then drives in and shoots you point blank. That's when you want to rip someone out of that tank and go for it. But he didn't come out of the tank because he shot me point blank and said, "Get out of here, you're out." And really, point blank, here we are having a discussion and he shoots. So, yeah.
Now I can imagine that tanks at point blank can be pretty intimidating. Now, do most fields run a like a minimum engagement distance rule, kind of like they do for airsoft? I know I've heard
20 feet.
So a certain minimum distance you're supposed to be away from the tanks.
Right. That's
Yeah, at
It's usually 15 feet.
20 feet.
15.
Yeah, 20 feet.
Yeah, about 15, 20 feet.
And that's one of the things the tank walker gets to do is enforce that, is to tell people stay 20 feet away, because no one wants to get run over by a tank.
But haven't you, on that subject, haven't you been into a situation where, let's say, you got knocked out in the middle of whatever town it is? Let's say you got knocked out on the road, and you really can't move anywhere because the entire opposing team is literally using you as a bunker. You have refs fighting you. You have your teammate tanker telling you to move. You can't move because you fear of running somebody over.
Right.
And
Well-
I would assume that happens.
Out, you kind of just sit there and wait for them to pass. And
Yeah.
even if you're
As
out,
old
you
as
still
you-
stay 20 feet away.
We've got a lot of roads, but if they're playing alongside the road, your own guys are playing alongside the road. It happened last year. I didn't see these guys, alongside the road, and I drove past them, and there's a ref calling out 15 of my own guys because I drove past them and killed them all.
Whoops.
So you got to watch that stuff. You got to watch for your own guys too. And
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to stay 20 feet away, period, or you're dead.
Just to bring some attention to the chat room, Larry says 20 feet, can't do that. Other team will be called out. You can't use a tank live or not for a bunker. Yeah, that works for the first few people that are within vicinity, like 5 to 10 feet of the ref. Anybody out of that, it's kind of a gray area that you really have to be the player to pull that guy away from the tank. Be like, listen, get away from the tank. He might run you over. You don't want to, you don't want to be ran over by a vehicle on a paintball field that you came to run on.
Yeah, our walkers tend to do that a lot at Fulda and the refs. And to tell you the truth, a lot of the players have been there so long and played so many times that they just know better.
Hey, the veterans got to show the rookies, hey, you're the key pointers. Do these and you'll be fine. You can have fun. It'll be a great time.
Veterans teaching rookies how to do things better is always the way we want to see things done in the sport. So what's something you would give as your one key piece of advice to someone who wants to get into tanking?
Have deep pockets.
Yeah.
Have a lot of time and plan. Early planning is best.
Deep pocket.
Come up with some sort of point of reference of where you want to go.
Yeah. I guess my one thing is if you're gonna build a tank, don't do it out of an absolute junker. Get a car that's mostly, sound running on the inside. Don't get, on the outside it can be falling apart, but on the inside you want something that's not going to die on the field.
Like you said, the worst thing you could do is get a vehicle, try to build a tank, and the heart of it is literally diseased. It needs to be fixed. And here you are trying to build a tank with $800, and you're spending $1,000 on mechanical parts.
The core thing, though, is to have determination and dedication. Because if you don't have determination and dedication to follow through with actually completing a tank, then why even start? There was a point when our tank where we were 8 months into the thing, and it literally sat for 9 months, almost close to a year, because some of us were like, crap, this is going to be expensive and time consuming.
Well, our finances... we're really
like almost a year. Yeah. We just, we pulled the trigger and went gung ho on a thing and dumped in a ridiculous amount of time and money, and that's exactly why it earned its name, Mine Herring.
Larry over in
my mistress. So all of our wives at the time were accusing us of having another mistress. Bam, there's the name.
And Larry over in the group chat says, "Don't overtech it," and I believe we've got that memo a little bit too late.
We've been there, got the T-shirt. It's yeah.
Oh, I mean, Larry, that train set sail a long time ago.
Well, in Australia, the tanks aren't a big thing down here. So Steve actually built his, as he built it off a Bren gun carrier. But I just went and brought the van on Gumtree, which is your Craigslist, and registered, drove it home, drove it into the shed out at paintball, lit a fire. So as we had warmth there, and we just painted it, me and my brother, painted it the Ken, cut the roof out of it, made the turret for it, and that's how we run with it. So the vehicle was running anyways. But some of the stuff I see turn up at D-Day, and you think, how is this thing running? But and they go.
And they don't. I mean, we've had tanks at D-Day stop running, blow their motor, and start on fire in the middle of the field.
Yeah,
actually, that was TJ's tank 2 years ago over at the Cousins field. He tried to get that thing to run, and he cranked it so much that it literally caught fire, and it sat right there, and now it's it. It hasn't been touched since.
It's now a prop on one of the maps. It's really good. They've worked it in well with the helicopter.
They've made it a feature instead of a bug. I like it.
Field in Calverton, definitely. You guys ever get a chance to come out to Long Island? We definitely have a nice camp spot for you guys. Plenty of beer.
It's a good. Cousins on Long Island is a great place to play. Played there many times.
You come out
We're
there.
Actually we'll definitely host you. That has a legit helicopter, from what I understand. I don't know anybody else doing tanks. But we have a legit helicopter that comes out on Sunday of the 2-day game, and whatever team buys enough points buys the helicopter for 10 minutes, and he just shoots the hell out of the other team.
Yep. So the helicopter go in the tank.
Like a legit in the air helicopter, or like a legit in
no, like a legit in the air helicopter.
Yes.
That's a whole new level.
It's a real.
The guy by the name of Doc. I don't know his actual name, but he every year is in this helo, and he's up there rocking it, man. Every year.
So
Reaper met him.
Hey,
so
Reaper.
Doc is crazy.
Be quiet now. Reaper's back.
We have a lockdown right now. I mean, it's like we're having riots, and there's a lockdown. So they had to push the dinner sooner. That's why I had to jump, because I had everything planned, and all of a sudden they said they're closing all the restaurants because of the riots. So the kids were like, we have to eat now. So I apologize. Sounds like you guys were having an amazing time, though.
Oh, yeah. You left? Wait,
what's that?
Wait,
I didn't know.
I thought you were hanging out in the green room for a minute.
I'm gonna put Iron Man. I'm gonna put Iron Man back. I'm gonna get out, and I'll put. It was you guys. It's 7:00. We started at 5. It's 2 hours. Have you guys had enough, or you guys time to?
I can go for a little bit longer, but I do have to get to bed because I gotta wake up early.
I gotta start making dinner. I got about a quarter bottle left.
It's about 9 here for me, and I've got a kid. I've got a spot for, so.
Okay, so let me pop in Iron Man. Archangel, hold on one second. Let me pop in Iron Man so he can say something else. Hey, Iron Man. Sorry to keep you in the green room. Whoa, now you're making me seasick.
All right, I've been listening in.
Okay, so did it evolve from airplanes to paint to tanks? What happened with you guys?
We went all over
everywhere.
the place. All over the place.
All right. Okay, listen. How did we do? Did we accomplish our task of?
I mean, we could keep telling war stories, and we could keep going.
Okay. So did we?
We're definitely going to need a mediator for to stick to the topics and questions.
Basically,
okay.
spoiled a lot.
Okay, listen though, but I mean, do you think that the world that didn't know about tanks now knows about tanks?
Probably.
I think that they understand tanks a little bit better.
Okay, so I'm hoping that there's going to be an appreciation if a player goes out there, watches my show, and is going to say, I understand, what I'm saying, a little bit more about the logistics and, again, how much $70,000 that someone's going to spend on a tank, or the, the making sure that it's bolted on properly, or four-wheel drive versus two-wheel drive. I'm hoping now that people really give you guys like that extra, hey, thanks for coming out kind of thing, because I mean, it's a big thing. I mean, listen, the average Joe can walk on with his paint and just go play. You guys are investing so much time and energy to make that game something special. So I just want to say thank you. And that was the idea behind the show, is to basically highlight you guys and say, hey, thank you very much for what you guys do.
Hey, we got a really unique group of people, the Tankers. I mean, pretty good friends with all the guys down here in the Command Decision War Games Center. And it's really a pretty close-knit group. I mean, we play against one another. We play with one another. But it's a lot of respect, a lot of camaraderie. It's having played the game for so long, it's been a real fun thing to do to add another element to the game. Really enjoy all the people that we play around here in North Carolina.
Nice.
I really miss not driving the tank this year. I really am.
Well, us from Long Island, if we ever get the chance to come to Fold the Gap, we're gonna make it down there eventually at some point.
That'd be cool.
And I would love to be sharing a beer with you guys down there, or wine.
We do moonshine down here, just so you know. It's clear and it's moonshine.
I got.
Oh, we got that too.
Don't worry about that.
We got that too.
We know how to make our fire water.
Don't keep that to yourself.
Nice. Okay. You guys, listen, again, thank you very, very much. We're going to, it's been a 2-hour show. Well, not for me, but for you guys. So I'm going to bid the audience adieu. You guys stay where you are. Don't hang up. We're going to hang out in the green room for a minute while I go say goodbye to the rest of the audience. And if you guys think that we accomplished anything, we knocked it out of the park, or is there anything that you want to say before we go?
We should definitely do it again.
Tanking is a lot of fun, and that, it can be really serious, but it can also just be a lot of fun too. Like, we based our philosophy on tanking off of Kelly's Heroes, and the theme song for Kelly's Heroes is how we roll up to the field, because we're just there to have fun. We're there to kick butt, but we're also having fun, so don't take things too seriously.
Yeah. So Eric is 8 Ball. Is that what his name is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I happen to have that jacket and the hat. Yeah, I actually own that.
Okay.
No negative
Oddball.
ways.
Oddball, right? Not 8 Ball. I said that wrong. I'm sorry.
Oddball.
Yep. No negative waves. Yep, I have it.
Okay, cool. All right. Punisher, what do you guys say to goodbye? As for goodbye.
Love you all.
We can't wait. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chris.
We can't wait for for all of this stuff to get over with, so we can actually start seeing everybody on the field again. We're really excited for that. At the same time, when you see a tanker and you're field owner, or not even a field owner, but you're just somebody involved in the game, listen to the guys who put the tank together. They're the ones who know the tank the best out of anybody else. It's not, hey, I need you to go here. It's, hey, can you go here? Different way of wording stuff.
And for me, what I would say is, when you see my tank on the field, I would love you to shoot every ounce of have at me because I love shooting at you.
Man, that's so much more to clean
I'm
up.
itching for some tanking
Yeah,
right
you
now.
keep them to yourself then, okay?
Oh, all right, don't worry about it.
See, this is why his name is Captain Intensity, because he just, sometimes it gets crazy.
Nice. I like it. Okay, Eric, what do you got to say?
Just support your tankers, support your local fields. Just get out and play. Just go play paintball.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Man.
All right, and Cool Dad, what do we got?
Enjoyed being part of this, guys. Didn't think I was going to get a chance to get here, see some faces that I know real well, and enjoy being around some new faces here. If you're interested, check out Tracker Tank Team page on Facebook. It's just pictures of a lot of different tanks that play here in North Carolina. Yeah, we got some stuff of the Tracker there, but we try to, every time we get a tank picture, we try to post it up on the page. It's no big deal. It's just something to do.
I like it.
Happy to have you join us.
Thank you. And then Punisher number 2.
Oh, is that me?
That's you.
Oh, I love everybody here. I love all of this whole venue. Let's do a round 2 of this.
I'm into
More
it.
tank information is better for everybody to learn, and everybody stay safe. And yeah, get out and play, like Engler said. And
all right.
The more you get out and play, the better
thing.
we all are.
If anybody wants to build a tank, build something interesting. Put some
Use your
thought
mind.
into it. Don't just go
Your
slap
ideas.
together some plywood and netting and be like, I got a tank.
Okay.
Don't go off of him. Don't go off of him. Don't go off of her. Don't go off of him. I mean him. No.
Be creative and original.
Him.
I like it.
Go off of what you know.
Got it. Okay, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, everybody, we're going to say adios and au revoir, and, auf Wiedersehen, and all that. Shoot
Au
your
revoir.
all you guys in the on the show, hang out one minute while I freeze or unfreeze. Hang out 1 minute while I'm frozen. Hang out 1 minute. Don't go away. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody on the show. All right, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the show. And we're going to do a tank 2. Hey, get it? It's tank 2, like take 2. Never mind. Anyway, we're going to do a tank 2 and have an amazing time. So until then, I'll shoot you soon.